this is Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. I'm here today to do a kitten chat. I am going on holiday soon. I'm very, very excited. We're going to stay in my parents' caravan in West Wales for a couple of weeks. I cannot wait. I'm hoping to have some really relaxing downtime, so I am taking diamond paintings with me. And I wanted to take a choice, so I have picked one of each, one round, one square. And these are what are coming with me. So what I'm going to do today is kit up as much of these as I can in around an hour or so, hopefully, of footage. And then that will be my kitten chat video. So first of all, I have picked this very petite round painting, In-Cat-Nito. I picked this up a few months ago. It's by Pixie Sticks at Diamond Art Club, and it's just so cute. And it looks like it'll work up really quickly because it's only 32.8 by 32.8 and lots of colour blocking. So I'm hoping to get this one done, and then I'm going to start another project too, which is again a not huge painting but slightly bigger. So this is the Mystery Kit Abstract Animal by Katrina Koltes. There's not going to be any spoilers in this video other than the colours of the painting if I get as far as kitting those up, because I think I will start with In-Cat-Nito and then I'll move on to this depending on how long things are taking me. So this is 55.8 by 55.8, so small to medium size, and I thought it would just be nice to be able to switch between the two a bit. So that is what I'm going to be doing. Right, let me move these to the side. So I am going to be using, sorry, that's the bowl, I'll put the rubbish in, this new storage container today. I was a bit naughty. I bought some more storage and I didn't really need it because I did have other things I could have taken, but they were going to be a bit bulkier and a little bit less convenient for the space I'll be working in. So what I've done is I have bought one of these 120 bottle Art Dot containers, because let me show you, it has got 2 trays of 60 bottles. So I can have 1 tray per painting and they'll all be neatly contained within this case. And I will have other uses for it at other times. So yeah, I figured that that would be a nice holiday treat to myself. They weren't too expensive at the moment. Sorry, I'm just going to clear out all these extra goodies that Art Dot like to send because I do not need those today. So I think I paid about £29, which isn't too bad really. So yeah, let me get myself set up. Right, so here's my drills for In-Cat-Nito. I've had them out of the bag just because I wanted to check if they looked staticky, and they didn't look too bad, so I'm hoping I haven't made a mistake by not freezing them. Let me get my sticker sheet out. There we are. And I also need this paper guillotine just to cut my stickers off the main sticker. So let me do that. There we are. So I'm just going to pop these onto all of the, whatchamacallits, the pots. And then I'll start kitting up. So it's been a very, very busy few days here. I'm glad to find a bit of time to film this video because I was struggling to fit it in before I go away. But yeah, everyone else is out at the moment, so I'm just grabbing the opportunity just to do this. So first of all, what I wanted to say was thinking ahead to the next time I do a sort of whip and chat video or kitten chat or whatever kind of chatty video that I do next, is I was watching my friend Claire over at Diamond Painting Nerds Whip and Chat the other day, and she did something that I've meant to do before and haven't got round to, and it sort of reminded me because it was really interesting watching her whip and chat where people had asked her questions and she was just answering those. So the first thing I wanted to do is invite you to pop any questions that you have for me down in the comments. I tend to chat a lot about my life and day-to-day stuff in these videos. So if you've been watching for a while, you might feel like you know a fair bit about me, but I've never really done a sit down, who am I, this is my life kind of video. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to share most things with you, or if you have any questions about diamond painting or my diamond painting journey or the channel or anything really, feel free to ask. And then hopefully if I get a fair few questions, then that will be a big part of a future whip and chat video, just going through those with you. So what has been going on for me recently? So it is we're about 2.5, coming up 3 weeks into the summer holidays here in the UK. And it has been hectic. It's been fun, so much fun, but oh my goodness, it's been busy. I didn't go back to work after I had my son. I mean, I have worked a bit over the years. I've done things like voluntary work around breastfeeding support, and I've done paid breastfeeding support, and I've done some transcription work. And so I've done bits and bobs. But I haven't had anything quite as full on in terms of how much time it takes up as I have this year. So this year I have both the channel, which I've had for a year now, but on top of that I've started this shop, which you've no doubt heard me talk about before, unless this is the first video of mine you've watched, in which case, hi, welcome. But yeah, I started this Etsy shop in April, selling primarily scented diamond painting putties. And it's been going well. I'm really, really happy with how the last few months have gone. But the flip side of that is I now find myself working practically full time. And I wasn't mentally prepared for this. I didn't even dare to hope that it would get as busy as it has, as quickly as it has. So it's brilliant, but also it's a bit wow. So this is how it feels like to be a working parent and have your kid home for the holidays and have all this stuff to do. And to top it off, my husband has had extra work to do. So he works in a university, and obviously the university students aren't there at the moment, but he's doing some summer school teaching. So every day for the past, well, this is the 4th week, the last week, in the afternoons, he's been going out and teaching for 3 hours. So it's just time when he often would have taken my son out to do things, but instead I'm now juggling that with work, which I'm not complaining about. I'm really not complaining about. It's just been a learning curve, I guess, and an experience, and kind of, wow, how have you other parents been doing this all these years while I've been happily not working and having all the time I needed to spend with my son? It's been a bit trickier than expected, because the first 2 weeks he was doing afternoons, my husband this is, and the second 2 weeks we're expecting him to do mornings, and it would have been the same amount of time out of the day, but psychologically it's a lot easier, I think, sort of having your work out of the way in the morning and then you get home at 1ish and you've got the whole afternoon to do whatever, versus you can only do what you can fit into a couple of hours in the morning, because then you've got to be ready to go to work again. So yeah, that's added a bit of extra chaos to the last couple of weeks, because we were expecting it to feel a lot easier and it hasn't. Yeah, so first week or so of holidays, I mean, I just gave my son lots of relaxing downtime, because I needed the time and he needed time to unwind after his year of school. So that was nice. You know, he just mooched around the house, sort of whacked a ball around the garden, had some screen time and TV and all the rest, read some books, you know, all the usual stuff. And then we've tried to get him a bit busier as time's gone on. So we've had a friend over a couple of times. Oh, that's funny. They're static in those drills because they're climbing up the walls, but they poured in nice and easily. I think what I will do is add a bit of tin foil into those. There we are, just so they hopefully settle down before I actually use them. Yeah, and we had a mother and son date, as it were, one day, which was really, really nice. I'd been promising him that we would go to this place in this sort of the nearby little town, little shopping area of our city that does desserts. It's like a treats place, and it just does dessert type food. We'd been promising we'd take him there for ages and then not getting round to it. So we decided to go out one afternoon. So we went up and had a proper lunch in a nice little cafe that we like and sometimes go to. And then we went next door and had these treats, and it was just really nice. You know, I said to him when we were on the way back, like, we need to do this more often, because I hadn't really thought about this as being an option for us now. You know, I'm still thinking back to a couple of years ago when we couldn't really have done that, because he would have just been bored and we wouldn't have been able to just sit and chat. He would have just needed proper entertainment, and then that's just a very different thing, isn't it? But we were able to sit and chat, and he was filling me in on school and summer plans, and we were talking about doing up a new bedroom for him some point in the next couple of years, and all these things that just we hadn't had a chance to sit and chat about. So that was lovely. And then of course I've been running him around to things that my husband normally does. So like he's had football training and cricket training, and my husband normally does that. He does football because he is the assistant coach, so he takes him. And then cricket he tends to do just because timings wise it works out easier. I normally stay home and cook during that time. So yeah, I've been doing all those things. Been taking him to various activities. He's been doing this this really fun swimming thing. So the past couple of weeks he's gone, and it's for 8 to 12-year-olds who have to be a decent swimmer. And they get the pool to themselves. No one else is allowed in. And they go on these big, like, inflatable assault courses. And then there's the rest of the pool, and there's diving boards they can jump off. And it's just really fun for them. And I think because they're in there themselves with no adults, well, obviously lifeguards. They have lots and lots of lifeguards stationed around the pool to make it safe. They just love it. So we went last week with a couple of friends of his. And then this week we went again with my nephew, which I'll get onto that in a bit, because if I get ahead of myself in my stories, I will lose track of what I've told you and what I haven't. Although I'm kind of almost there anyway. I don't know what else we've done. Oh, we had the annual shoe shopping trip. Any parents amongst you will understand the pain. We've got into this bad habit the last few years. Like, we've been quite lucky that generally when we buy him a pair of school shoes, he doesn't tend to grow out of them within that school year. So we've got in this habit of going in the summer for our shoe shopping trip to get him measured and get him new school shoes. But then sort of not buying any of his other shoes he needs until then either. Because I sort of, like, I don't like to buy too many of those kind of things in between, because I always think, well, he's probably due a bit more foot growth soon, if you know what I mean. So we sort of wait until we've gone and got measured, and then I have to get him his school shoes, his school PE trainers, and he needed a pair of actual trainers, you know, just for his own leisure time. So the school shoes were pretty easy. The PE trainers, a little bit less easy, but not too bad. They just needed to be plain black, and luckily we found some he liked. But oh my goodness, it was hard finding the ones for his own leisure time. Oh, he was obsessed with getting black ones, which I'm all for him having his own sense of style and choosing things for himself. However, we just bought him black school shoes, black PE trainers, and he already has some trainers that he got a few months ago, which are largely black. So I sort of said, well, I'm not buying you another pair of black trainers. Like, if you want to wear black trainers, you already have options. And I was trying to get him to get something that, obviously I wanted it to be his style that he would choose, but, you know, something a bit more varied in colour. And he was turning his nose up at everything. He was turning his nose up at things he used to love. Like the shop we've bought most of his trainers from his whole life is now not cool, mummy, not cool. So 906. So yeah, that wasn't going to work. He's become a label snob. I don't know where this came from because neither his dad or I are like that at all. But everything he wanted Nike or Adidas or whatever. And they cost a lot of money. Anyway, we kept looking because some of them cost more than others. I eventually ended up getting him a pair that were a good compromise because they had some black in them, but they had other colours too. And he really liked them. And they were a brand, but they were expensive, but they weren't stupidly expensive. So yeah, we compromised in the end. Anyway, he ended up doing quite well out of me essentially losing the will to live in the end of the shopping trip and just being like, fine, these are near enough to what we both had in mind. So he got some trainers, so he's now very happy with, which, you know, like I said, I don't mind too much because his feet tend to grow in spurts, so the same shoes will fit him for a long time usually. I have friends who seem to have to buy new shoes for their kids like every 3 or 4 months because their feet are just like constantly growing a little bit and then they don't like them feeling tight. So yeah, could be worse, but it wasn't the most fun afternoon ever. And then we got to the bit where my nephew's staying with us. So my son has been looking forward to this so much for weeks and weeks and weeks. My sister asked if we could have my nephew stay. He's a little bit older than my son, but not that much older, and they get on really, really well. They're very close. Sort of a bit like brothers, sort of like friends. You know, they really enjoy each other's company. So she'd asked if we could have him because, you know, they're having the same battles as everyone about summer holidays and filling his time. Which we were delighted to have him, frankly, because although it's, you know, a little more work having an extra kid in the house, they kind of entertain each other and it just makes my son so happy. So yeah, my son had been basically counting down the days till he was going to come. He was proper like night before Christmas excited, the night before they came. And we were just hoping it would go ahead because we have a terrible track record between us of planning to see each other and then someone gets ill and we have to cancel. Like one time he was coming up here with my parents and literally my son came down with hand, foot and mouth for the first time in his life the day they were supposed to come. You couldn't make it up. So my sister and her husband brought my nephew up on Saturday, just gone, which was really nice because we haven't had them here in a while either. So we had a lovely chilled afternoon just chatting, catching up. And then we went out for dinner. I'd been thinking, what shall I cook? What shall I cook? And I'm a confident cook, but I do get a bit nervous if I have guests over to make something that they like and, you know, all that kind of thing. And I was having a real mind blank because I think I was just so busy last week. I couldn't really see my way through to thinking of something that I thought they would like, that we liked, that wouldn't mean that I was just in the kitchen all evening. And with them only coming up one evening, you know, I didn't want to do that. So we went out to a burger restaurant that we particularly like. And it's, you know, a nice quality burger place, not fast food type stuff. So it's a nice meal out. And we go there as often as we can manage to, really. So not that often, but, you know, when we can, it's a nice treat. So we went up there with them. It was lovely. Stopped off at our favourite pub on the way, walked up to there, had some yummy burgers, came back and just sort of sat and chatted and had a few drinks, played some games. Oh gosh, that bag was bent. It made them really hard to tip out. So it was a really fun evening. My husband had got this game that he was desperate to play that we hadn't got round to because you need more than 2 players for it. It was called Plague. And it was really different. It took us a while to understand because the rules were quite complicated. You had to work your way around this map and avoid catching plague, which you would catch by pulling certain cards out of the pack. And you had to leave the city of Bristol on a cart at the end without either having plague yourself or being on a cart with someone who it turned out had plague. Anyway, I don't know why I'm trying to explain it. I still barely understand it myself. It's not going to mean a lot to you. But it was fun. And then we played a card game that my family and I always really enjoy. And again, you need 4 players, so it's not something my husband and I can play ourselves. So yeah, that was really good. Really nice evening. And then they left to go home on Sunday, and my nephew's been staying with us ever since. It's Wednesday now. He goes home tomorrow. I'm kind of dreading it because my son will be absolutely devastated. Normally when they have to say goodbye to each other, he's in floods of tears. The only thing that I'm hoping might save us this time is they will see each other briefly a couple of days after that when we pass through my parents' house on the way to our holiday. But yeah, it's been another chaotic, very busy but fun week. So my husband's done a lot of the kind of entertainment stuff in his mornings because I've just been working basically full-time hours trying to get things done before I go away. So Sunday they went and played some foot golf and they went and played some pool. And then I think they went to the park actually in the evening for a bit of a kick around as well. So that was all good. And then Monday, oh, they went trampolining. The kids really wanted to go trampolining. My husband went on the trampolines as well. I don't know if you know what I mean. They do these big like trampoline parks these days. They've only really been around the last few years, I would say. And it's just, it's a whole series of trampolines and fun bits. And, you know, it's a good activity for kids, you know, loads of exercise. They love it. Great. My husband went as well. He managed to I don't know what he did. He probably didn't sprain his ankle because it recovered quite well in the end. But he did something nasty to it. He said it wasn't even when he was bouncing, really annoyingly. He just stepped off one thing onto another thing and the ground kind of gave way beneath him and then his ankle turned over. So yeah, he wasn't very happy about that. This is really weird how many of these drills are quite staticky. Like, look at that. But they're pouring out of the bags fine. I'm not complaining, but yeah, strange. Never had that before. So yeah, he came back and he was like, I have messed up my ankle and it was swollen and we were icing it. He had some ibuprofen to help with the inflammation. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it into work and I was really concerned, but he tested it out and he found he could cycle without putting much pressure on it. It was more walking that was a problem. But we were really worried, you know, for his ankle, for the rest of the week and how it was going to affect that, and then ultimately going on holiday. But luckily he woke up the next day and it was okay. It's still a little tender, but not a problem at all. He can walk around and it's all pretty much fine. So thank goodness. Anyway, so they came back from bowling and the kids had a lazy afternoon while I worked, and then in the evening we went bowling, which was nice. We only did one game, which I think they were a bit disappointed by. But then we made the mistake of saying they could have a little bit of time in the arcade. Like we gave them, I think it was £10 worth of money in the arcade. Unbeknownst to me, the daylight robbery in that place, like as if those arcade games aren't expensive enough as it is. This place is set up for these games to barely last any time. You're talking like air hockey that lasts a minute, games that last 20 seconds, and they cost the best part of £1 to play. Like, are you joking me? It's mental. I cannot believe they get away with charging that much. You would think it would reach a point where no one was willing to actually do it and then they'd make less money as a result. I don't know. Like, bowling's expensive enough as it is anyway. I thought it was very cheeky. Ooh, oh no, I can't quite get them in. I thought I would be able to. Okay, I'll have to start a little bag for those. And make that less full as I can't put them in anyway. Okay, so 3809. trying to find some bags. So yeah, that was Monday. Tuesday was another mega busy one. So let me think while I write. I can't do two things at once. Brain doesn't cope with that. My husband took them to a place called Crocodiles of the World in the morning, which is sort of what you would expect from the name. It's a place with crocodiles. My son's been going there and loving it for years now. And they expand all the time. There's more things there all the time. And I used to go along with them, but I have a little bit of an issue whereby I have a real phobia of snakes. Like, genuinely, I don't know where it came from. I don't know why it's so bad, but I cannot even look at them. I don't even like the name, truth be told. And there used to be one in one container, and I could just have my husband lead me past it with my eyes closed. And it did stress me out, just knowing I was kind of close to it, but I could cope. And now since then, they've got a lot more in, and there's just a lot more of it to avoid, and it's not so doable. So I'm not sure I'm going to be going again. It makes me nervous just thinking about it. And I know it's mad. It's so irrational because it's not like we even have any like venomous ones or anything like that to give me a valid reason to be scared of them. But it's just this like deep primeval fear. I cannot even cope with looking at them. So yeah, no chance I was going there. Then in the afternoon, the boys did that swimming thing again. So I went and took them. And it's an hour and a half they get in there. So they're pretty tuckered out afterwards. Oh, proper static in this one. I will say though, this static has been a lot better than any recent kits that I've kitted up from Diamond Art Club. They went through this big long phase of having issues with static. And there is a little bit, but it is not really a problem. I do have a video showing all my tips on how to deal with static in drills if you ever have these problems yourself and want to look into it. For now, because they're not too bad, I'm just popping a bit of tin foil in and hoping that that is going to be enough to sort them. 3848. And then after swimming, we had football training. My son's regular football training, and yeah, we'd cleared it to just take my nephew along as well. So that was all good. And then we had quite a lazy afternoon, evening after all that. Let the boys just mooch around doing their own things. So they were playing games together. It was rainy and miserable yesterday. Lovely sunny day today. Rainy and miserable yesterday. It's supposed to be sunny and hot tomorrow, and then I think it's going miserable again. Of course it is. We're going on holiday. So at the moment, while I'm filming this, my husband and son and nephew are out at the park. They've gone over to a big park near us that has like mini golf and then lots of space for kicking around a ball, and I think they've taken a cricket set. So they'll be out till my husband has to get back to go to work. And then I'm not sure what we'll do later. Probably a quiet afternoon, but we think we might go out to that treats place after dinner tonight as a nice last day of the holiday treat. It is actually called treats. I'm not just being repetitive. So yeah. Then my nephew's going tomorrow. As I said, there's probably going to be absolute devastation, so not much looking forward to that part. But then I've just got a couple of days to sort things out because we're going away on Saturday, first thing Saturday. So we need to pack up the car Friday evening. And yeah, I'm struggling to get through things. I'm hoping that everything's going to come together because at the moment I feel like I'm not going to get it all done. But I mean, I will. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's just a bit a bit chaotic. Right, I am going to prep the next one. I'm just wondering if I need to, no, it'll be fine. Sorry, just talking to myself there. I was wondering if I needed to prep to copy the sticker sheet for this other painting, which I'm going to start hitting up now. By the way, just in case you are super careful with spoilers, I'm now going to get out the drills for the mystery kit. That's all I'm going to show you is the drills, but if you don't even want to see the colourway until you open it for yourself, then, you know, this is where I say goodbye to you. But yeah, here it is. Oh, you can't see anything on here because they're black and white. That was silly of me. Okay, let me cut that. And let's see how much of this I can get done. 48 colours. I don't think I'm going to get them all done before I run out of time today, because it always takes me longer than I think, and that's already been sort of a good half hour or so, I think. But we'll give it a go. Right, I think I'll swap these around because it'll be easier if it's at the top. Ooh. Sorry, I'm making everything wobble. Okay. Let's get going with the stickers. So, oh, I need to think about how to arrange these. I think because of the black and whiteness of them, I might actually arrange these in symbol order, like do the numbers and then the letters and then the directional symbols, that kind of thing. Because that's what I did last time and I found that a lot easier. So I will probably just kit them up as they are, because then it will be easier to find the right DMC code relative to the bag. But then I'll rearrange them. So yeah, final busy couple of days now just to get through everything. I'm working on washing. Hopefully you can't hear my washing machine in the background because it's on its spin cycle before I hang some things out. And then tying up the last little bits for my shop. I've got one more scent release. Hopefully some other bits and bobs to get out before I have to put it in holiday mode, which feels a bit strange. Can't say I'm really looking forward to that because, you know, it's just in a really good growth period, but it is what it is and I need the holiday. And then Saturday morning we'll be off. So we're stopping off in Cardiff to see my parents for a bit, which we always do on our way through there to pick up keys and say hi. But also I have a cousin who is over from the United States with her husband and her 3 kids. So we'll get to see them for a couple of hours on our way through as well, which will be lovely. We don't see them very often, obviously, because all my cousins live in the States or Canada. And they're all a fair bit older than me too. I mean, they're similar ages to my siblings. So my siblings and I can hang out because we're siblings, but we don't have that kind of shared childhood together. Like my eldest sister was 12 when I was born. I'm very much the youngest. And with my cousins, because I don't see them that often or have a chance to talk to them or anything, and we don't have that shared childhood because they used to live in the UK when they were young. So they did spend a lot of time with my siblings growing up. I don't have the same relationship with them. But, of course, it is still lovely to see them when they're around. So I'm glad we're getting a chance to see them. Okay, bring some drills in now. Hoping for not too much static. Fingers crossed. So yeah, we'll stop off for a little bit. I think my sisters and their families will be around as well. And then we will be off to the caravan. So yeah, as I said, my parents have this caravan. My family have had a caravan on this site since about 1970. It was my dad's parents who had it originally. And then after they died, my parents bought one on the site when we couldn't use, well, they had to give up their caravan before they were gone actually, because they just got too old to maintain it, and my parents took over running a caravan there. So it's basically my second home, you know. We've been going there my entire life. We used to go there a lot when I was a child, you know. We'd just go for weekends and stuff, because Cardiff to where the caravan is only a couple of hours. For us, it's a fair bit longer. It takes, if we go straight through, it's probably about 4 hours on a decent run. So it's not terrible. It's certainly not bad for a holiday, but it's a bit too far to do for a weekend with a young child who'll get very bored in the car. So we tend to only go once a year. This is actually our second time this year, because we went to Easter with my parents and we hadn't been down there with them for years. So that was lovely. But now this is our main family holiday for the summer. So my husband's parents are coming for the first few days. They're not staying in the caravan with us, because whilst there are 3 bedrooms in the caravan, it's quite a squeeze, and because we're going down for almost 2 weeks and have a lot of stuff, there just is not much room for everything. And my in-laws are, you know, perfectly happy to... Oh, I've just found a fairy dust drill from the first kit. I'll put that to the side to put in later. My in-laws are quite happy to book into a hotel and have their own space, so they're staying about a mile up the road. And they're coming Saturday as well. I think we'll see them Sunday and Monday and maybe Tuesday. But I think Tuesday they might go off and do their own thing, and then they're going back on Wednesday. But we have until the following Friday. And then my sister's taking over for her holiday. So yeah. I cannot wait. As I was saying earlier, I'm sort of adjusting to working more, and I feel like it's the first time in years I've really earned my holiday. I really could do with a break. Hoping for some nice weather, but not optimistic because it's been rubbish in the UK this summer. Mind you, I shouldn't complain given what's going on in a lot of the world and how many places are really suffering for the heat they're having. We're having the absolute flip side of that, much cooler than usual, not very summery at all. But it will be what it will be, and we'll get on and make the best of it, whatever it's like. So it's not a problem. We'll try and do all our usual things that we like to do when we're down there, and then also find some new things. So we'll eat out a few times. Like my husband has a Mexican restaurant he really loves down there. Yeah, we'll have a few meals out because we're on holiday, but we'll also cook in the caravan quite a lot. And then, oh, I can't remember what that one came from. This is the problem because I can't remember what I've done. Oh, is that it? That might be it. That'll do anyway. It's close enough. And yeah, so our favourite things to do there, we often go down to Tenby Way and do things like Heatherton, which is like an adventure type park. It's got a little bit of everything. And you buy a certain amount of credits and then they're valid for a while. So we sometimes go there more than once. By sort of, sorry if you can hear singing in the background, that's my washing machine that likes to play a little bingle when it's done. That will remind me to get off in a little bit and go and hang up washing so it can dry. So yeah, we'll go there and do things like pitch and putt and bumper boats and go-karting and all that kind of thing. And then just up the road from there, there is a wildlife park called Manor Wildlife Park. And actually, one of my viewers told me about that last year when I mentioned that we were going to that part of the world. So we went, and my son absolutely loved it there because he loves wildlife parks and zoos anyway. He really likes animals. He wants to be a zookeeper when he's older. But this one's particularly good in lots of ways. It had lots of things on throughout the day, like come to this bit or that bit to watch this animal feeding and so on. Like we saw some tigers feeding, and they strung up these chickens up a pole, and then the tigers had to jump up and get them. The highlight for him, well, it was possibly the red pandas because he loves red pandas, and the ones here were actually out and about and visible, which often they're not. So we saw them, but they had a wallaby enclosure where you could go in and actually hand feed the wallabies. So I've got so many videos of him feeding them and just looking ecstatic. He was in heaven. So I know he'll want to do that again. And then what sort of other things do we do? My husband fancies going up to Aberystwyth and doing the train that they have up there. We do lots of things quite locally, like the Cardigan Island Farm Park, lots of beaches. Well, my husband and son do the beaches. I don't personally like beaches much. I know that's a bit controversial. People will judge me. But I don't, and they really do. So quite often they go out and do that. You know, they'll do a few beach days over the course of the holiday where they'll go off and do their thing. And they'll stay out for hours. And I'll stay home and have some time to relax and diamond paint and that kind of thing. And it just works out better for us. Because we'll do lots of things as a family anyway. And it just makes no sense for me to go to a beach and feel, you know, not very happy or relaxed and bored and whatnot, when they could go for hours and stay as long as they want and not worry about me. So yeah, I think we will all look forward to those days equally. I've spilled more. Ugh, what are those from? This is the problem, I can't see them. Found them. So yeah, it's going to be brilliant. Can't wait. No doubt I'll fill you in on whatever we get up to when we get back. What else is new? Oh, to add to the chaos, we've had a massive house clear out. Well, I say massive, there's still plenty more to do, but finally reaching a stage where my son is willing to let go of some of his toys and things that he hasn't played with for a while, but finds hard to let go of. So we've sold on his IKEA kitchen that he had for his 2nd birthday. So it's had 7.5 years. And to be fair, there's never been a year it hasn't had some use still. But yes, he really doesn't need it at his age. So we sold it and he got the money because, you know, it was his. So he's actually really happy to have that as spending money for the holiday, which probably eased the transition of selling it, I would imagine. So we've cleared out bags and bags and bags of rubbish because it just accumulates, if you're like us anyway. I know some people are really good about this kind of thing and stay on top of it. We're not good like that. It's not a strong point for us. So unfortunately, the place does get quite cluttered because none of us are massively tidy. I'm a lot tidier than my husband or son, but I also just don't have the energy to constantly be clearing up after them. So if I lived by myself, certain things would be a lot tidier. But yeah, it's a losing battle because anything I do tidy and sort of work up the energy to do and hate doing it, they then instantly mess up again. And I can't. What else? I think I must be coming up to the hour mark. Do you know what? I never remember how long I've been chatting on for, and I definitely looked at the time when I started today, but I can't remember what it said. It might have been 10 past 11, it might have been 20 past, and it's currently 12, so I won't waffle on too much longer either way. I don't think I'll get through all of these, but I've had a good go at it. So I'll do a little shop update, as I tend to do. I have recently passed 1,000 sales, which was amazing. I was a little bit overwhelmed, to be honest. Never in my wildest dreams expected that would happen so quickly. And I'm just so grateful to everyone who's been buying and supporting the shop. I've got a Facebook group that supports the shop, which is linked down below if you want to join. And I announce things in there like giveaways and like all my new scents and that kind of thing. And that's becoming really like buzzy and chatty at times. So that's lovely. Really enjoying having my own little corner of Facebook carved out. And I'm still releasing a scent every week. So I'm up to about 17 now, I think. I've definitely reached the point where I can't manage to have all of them in stock at once, but that's fine. Like as long as there's a good range of choice, I think that's fine for it. Speaking of giveaways, I will be doing a giveaway for 1,000 sales, but actually, I don't know. I'm hoping to get it done this week before I go away, but I'm still waiting for some things that I want to include that I don't have at the moment. So I don't know. I mean, it's worth you joining the Facebook group anyway, because there are regularly giveaways, but I don't know for sure if the 1,000 sales will have happened or not by the time you see this. If you can't join that one, there will be others. All right. Onto the bigger bags, where I'll probably have to set up spare bags for a few of them. I am shipping internationally now. So that's been the big news probably from the last few weeks. I spent a long time looking into various regulatory things and getting advice, and I was finally reached a point where I was comfortable to start the international shipping. So that has gone really excitingly well. I've had several orders from the US. I've had some orders from the EU. I think Denmark and Holland and Poland spring to mind. And I've had one order from Japan. So yeah, I'm really intrigued about how people are finding me, because I think English speakers might watch this channel sometimes, but I'm not sure if someone who doesn't speak English would. Anyway, I'm wittering on, but yeah, I've been very, very, very excited with the progress recently, and I'm just hoping it continues. Can I fit those last few in, or am I pushing it too much? As I say, I feel a little bit nervous about having to put it in holiday mode for a couple of weeks, but I'm just trusting that the people who are enjoying my products are still going to be there when I get back, because I'm getting really lovely feedback, and that's what it's about at the end of the day, isn't it? Sort of giving customers something that they actually want and will improve their diamond painting experience. I'm trying to scale up my production as well. I make putty 4 or 5 days a week, and I only do 1 cent a day because it's quite tiring. It's quite a physical job, and I've been scaling up the amount I can make in one go, which is great because it means I can keep things in stock more and give people more choice. But oh my God, I'm such a weakling. I get such arm strain and like finger strain. I'm having to be careful actually, because I'm a little worried that I'm going to do my fingers in. I'm trying to use them less as I'm working the colours and the oil through the putty, and use other parts of my hands to balance it out, because my dad has arthritis in his fingers, and I don't want to, you know, if I'm genetically predisposed to follow him, I don't want to hasten it along. But anyway, that is all good. Yeah, I'm hoping that my arm strength will improve. Last time I kind of scaled up the amount that I make in a batch. My arms ached for a little while and then I got used to it. So I think I'm just building up arm strength, and then hopefully at the end of it I will be able to do it more easily. Okay, I think I will just do these last couple that I have sorted, and then I will leave the rest, because I'm pretty sure that's got to be coming up to at least 50 minutes now. I had a new product this month, which went down really well. I collaborated with another Etsy shop to make putty collection tins. So one of my customers had said, oh, you have to bring out some kind of storage pot, because, you know, I'm building a little collection of your putties, and it would be good to have somewhere to keep them. And it reminded me of this tin that I had bought a while ago, long before all the putty stuff, but just a kind of diamond painting bits and bobs tin that I really, really liked. So I reached out to the person that I bought that from, and asked if she would be interested in collaborating, and she was. So she designed me this special tin. It's got like pictures of my putty on, and it's a really nice sized tin that stores quite a few, but it's still compact. And it's lovely. It's so nice. But I bought 6 and I was going to hold one back for me, but 5 sold out within about an hour, so I put the 6th one up and that sold out too, which I'm not complaining about. But yeah, it's been more there's been more interest than I anticipated, so I've got another slightly bigger order on the way, which I'm hoping will come before I go away, and then yeah, we'll see where we are after that. I'll keep getting them in, you know, as long as there's interest, but people have been messaging me asking when they can get one, so it seems they're pretty popular, which is exciting. Ah, I've spilled everywhere. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave this there. I'll crack on with the rest of these later on when I have a bit of time. But yeah, I'm going to leave that for today. I've yabbered on for long enough, I think. But thank you for watching. If you are still here, I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have, please consider dropping a like on the video and subscribing if you're not already a subscriber. As I said at the start, if you have any questions for me, please pop them down below in the comments. And then next time I do a chatty video, I will answer any questions I get. So I would love to hear from you. All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.